Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to a new YouTube video on the channel. And today guys, I am going to be going over the team this AFL team needs to make finals in 2023. The AFL team that does need to make the finals in 2023. I'll be going over that with you guys in just a moment. But before I do go ahead and start today's video, I do just want to let you know that there is some exciting content coming in the near future. I do have plenty of ideas, so there will be content coming out very soon in the near future. Let's go ahead and hop into today's video. Alright, so this AFL team does need to make the finals in 2023. There has been a lot of talk about them recently, and especially over the course of the past, year from now, really. Like, it was probably November last year that talks were really coming out about that this team does need to make finals in 2022. And they didn't end up doing so, but they do in 2023. Now, this team really does need to make finals, and I'll be telling you why right now. So the team that does need to make finals in 2023, and this one is quite easy anyway, it is Carlton. Now, look, they were really good in 2022. I'm going to put that out there right now. That they were really good for their first, I'd say, half of the year. And then the second half, they did drop off completely, which I'll be going over that in just a moment. I mean, they couldn't quite finish off games against, like, the Crows, the Pies, the Demons. So they really were not finishing off games correctly. Those could have been 3 banked wins against the Crows, the Pies, and the Demons. But they were 3 tight losses in the end, especially the Pies and the Demons really did hurt in those last couple of rounds. And then the Crows prior, in what you'd think would have been the game they could have locked in finals, not in the end, although they do have quite a bad drought, the Adelaide Oval. Anyway, but moving on from that, they do need to make finals in 2023. A lot of pressure is on them for 2023. They had tons of pressure in 2022. They stood up to that pressure early, but couldn't finish it off in the back end of the season, and that's going to mount even more pressure for them in 2023. But why do they need to make finals? Well, it's actually quite a simple equation here for Carlton. Now, I've dotted down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reasons as to why they do need to make the finals. Let's just go ahead and go over them. They did show class throughout 2022. At times, they really did show class, especially in that first half of the year. And they were putting on absolute clinics as well against Melbourne and against Melbourne and Collingwood in those last couple of rounds as well. So they actually were playing quite well. It was just their inability to finish off some really tight games in the end, which did cost them. Now, they were close to making the top 8 in finals in 2022 as well. They just were short by percentage in the end. They do really have a great list. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time going over this, but some of their big buck recruits that they've gotten in the past couple of years, Sard, Williams, just for example, are some of the players that have also stood out. Like Adam Sard's been a really good pickup for the Blues. Blake Acres, Adam Cherry, you feel like will definitely fire. Through the draft, Sam Walsh has been a good one. Jesse Motlop, Matt Owens, Corey Durden are some great players. And then you've got Mackay and Kerno up forward, absolute spearheads. Jacob Wiedering in the back line, who's an absolute gun. Doherty's back there. Marchbank can be back there at times. So they do actually have some really great players. Lewis Young was a really cheap recruit. And there's more Brownlow medalist Paddy Creeps. So they do actually have a really nice midfield, forward line and defence line to Carlton. They are stacked all over the ground. They have great ground coverage all over the ground. Really stacked and packed group, as I wrote at point number 5. But it comes back to point number 3 and point number 1. They do have a great list and can show class. That they really do have that. And just some of the big names that I had gone over there, and there's plenty of other names as well that I didn't include in there. There's just big names all over the ground at Carlton, and a surprise they didn't make finals in 2022 because they were really good at parts at the time. But then they're also pretty poor at other parts. But they do have a great list, and a list like that is definitely deserving of the finals. And then they had pressure this year, and most certainly will next year. I've already seen reports and videos that Carlton really have to make finals next year, and this does add to the number of reports and videos there are out there that they do need to. But it is really a big point. They really do need to. There are a couple of other clubs that would like to make finals, like you think Gold Coast, Adelaide, St Kilda, Western Bulldogs, Port Adelaide, some clubs that would really want to make finals, but Carlton is an absolute need. I feel like they've been the team that's really been slammed on, and I feel like they do really need to get a wriggle on, and they could be a team if they do make it this year. They could be around at the finals for a long time as well. Same kind of scenario for the Suns and the Crows as well. But I feel like they're a couple of years or maybe a year or two behind. But Carlton right now, they are in their green light. It is now. They are in the best place they could possibly be right now. And they do need to capitalise on that before players start seeking trades or anything like that. So I feel like they do have a great list and definitely should be able to make the finals this year. I can't see, in 2023, I don't see why they can't do that considering where their list is at. So for Carlton, I do feel like they do need to definitely make finals in 2023. They've got plenty of pressure on them, and I feel like the next group of finalists, which could be Adelaide and Gold Coast, or especially Gold Coast, could be about a year behind. And it's, again, those 5 clubs I really did mention would probably like to make finals, but for Carlton, they're in their green light. They're in their best time possible. They need to right now. Thank you guys. It was so much watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you guys next another video on the channel. Thank you guys. It was so much watching. Bye everyone. Flaming Footy out.